Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Was that a new introduction? I think it was. We are ready to deliver, as always, Radio Superbity. You know that the reason why I never let 1 minute of this show suck is because I never know when some bigwig radio executive is going to be listening in a taxi cab from the Cincinnati airport and say, I want that guy in L.A. Now, I want to just first show and tell everybody, we do have video now for those of you, and I heard that our man Jacob got this up at 8:30 p.m. last night. Oh. They are rocking. But I am going to go back. It's like drinking a jug of moonshine. You know, if you drink a gallon of water a day, you will be healthier, wealthier, and wise. And I am going back to drinking, and this is kind of goofy. I can't do it unless I actually drink it out of a gallon jug. So I'm going to be carrying around with me, wherever I go, including court, my gallon water of spring water, and I'm going to be guzzling this all day long, Sensible Don, and I'm going to live to be 115.
Wait a minute. We're looking at sanctions again. Here you go on the court with this gallon jug in your box, your cardboard box with all these papers in, and here come the Bulldog.
You know, a lawyer of the people does not need a fancy leather briefcase. A cardboard box suffices.
Yeah, but the jug, come on.
Now, I also want everybody to know that sometime during the show when I feel like it'll probably be after the 8 o'clock hour, I am prepared to do a rant which sums up the war. You may not realize this, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury. There is a war going on in America today, and I am going to sum up that war. But until then, this is the quote of the day. What is the answer, she asked. And when no answer came, she laughed and said, then what is the question? Gertrude Stein. I have no freaking idea what that means. And I actually picked that out about a week ago as a quote. I pick them in advance. Today in history, in 1919, there was a peace conference held in Paris, France, the Treaty of Versailles. And what did that do, Sensible Don?
Led us to the Second World War.
There you go. My man knows history. And this is a great one. In 1949, Charles Ponzi.
The Ponzi scheme.
Who was an engineer of one of the most spectacular swindles in history, died destitute at a hospital in Rio de Janeiro at age 66.
Hey, you know,
proved he was the devil.
This is supposed to be a good idea when it started, though. You know that.
It was a smart idea.
Yeah, but it started.
In 1952, Jerome Curly Howard of Three Stooges died in San Gabriel, California. He was only age 48.
What was wrong with him?
I don't know. Curly ate too much. 1957, the three B-52s completed the first nonstop around-the-world flight by jet planes. And in 1967, Albert DeSalvo, you know what his real nickname was?
You got
it. You know it.
Yeah, I know you're
come on Boston Strangler.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Was convicted of armed robbery, assault, and sexual offenses.
Oh, he's a bad guy.
Now, you know we had some great birthdays yesterday. Ali, all the other. Today we only have David Batista. Who the hell's that?
Who is that?
Batista, the strong man from Nicaragua.
His name was Dave? No way his name was Dave.
Batista.
You don't get named Dave of the Nicaragua.
Yes.
Now we got Kevin Costner of Waterworld fame.
Oh my God, that was bad.
And Daniel Webster. I will give you an apple that I don't have. If you know what Daniel Webster's nickname was, Alex, you're a law student, you should know.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
His name was Black Dan.
Black Dan.
Why would I know? Why would I know that?
Dark eyes, dark hair. He was just dark.
Had a dark soul.
And you know what he was known for?
What?
His speaking abilities. And you know what his number one theme was?
I'm listening.
He was a unionist. Union forever. Union forever.
Can't use him.
Unlike his cohort. Now, name the other two senators, United States senators, that named up what they called the Great Triumvirate during Daniel Webster's time.
That's definitely beyond me.
Henry Clay,
a quiz show today.
Henry Clay, and John C. Calhoun.
All the names are familiar, but I can't put them in the
military death. God bless his soul. Sergeant First Class Benjamin B. Wise, 34, of Little Rock, Arkansas, died in Afghanistan. God bless the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine, the Guard, and his family, his loved ones. Sad day. Today, 3-day forecast. Partly cloudy. Tomorrow, snow shower. I thought snow like flaked down. It didn't shower. Can you explain that, Alex?
I cannot.
It showers.
I guess it can almost be snow. You know,
Friday
kind of like
is cloudy. And by the way, I want to know that I got an email yesterday from Jamie Schloy asking me to fire all three of you.
Oh, yeah, Jamie?
And I said, Jamie, he was homesick. And I said, Jamie, come on, man. I said, I can train them. There's still time to whip these guys in shape.
It's a work in progress.
I think I got the C- up to a C+ on the side kicks.
Oh.
Now, TC dropped to a D- until he finished with that I Have a Dream speech.
Oh, he fixed
I just want you all to know that I got your back. While everybody's trying to fire you guys.
Is there no curve?
Yeah,
No.
You know what? That's a good idea. We'll have to go to a curve. You can tell
A,
he's a
B, and
teacher.
C. One of us each.
Hey, we got good Shakespeare.
Yes.
But oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes.
Oh.
That's good.
That is good.
That's kind of like being jealous that Mitt Romney's got $250 million more than you do, Don.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Let's go take it, Don.
The word of the day. Now, this is good. This is a word I didn't know. Feral. F-E-R-A-L. It means wild and savage.
Uh-oh. There you
Wild
go.
and
Feral.
savage.
Feral.
Sensible Don is feral. Alex is not. Now, listen, I have this like 20 dog sayings I came up with, all right? And I said, let's rotate them every day. You know, we've been sharing them. I apologize to say that today's doggings. Now, I don't know how this got in the list, okay? You know, every dog has their day. Tomorrow's yours. It just says doggy style.
What is that? Your
That's the
quote of
dog
the day?
saying of the day.
Oh my God.
Doggy style.
Now we're meaning what we are meaning is Bulldog Nation style. Oh my God! I want to promote a Holy Cross fundraiser. There's too much to say. Just check out my blog and newsletter. But Holy Cross is having a fundraiser, Denim and Diamonds, February the 4th. Check it out. Jack Wagons today. Chris Matthews, who said that Newt Gingrich, by the way he talked to, won. Now he knows won. Why? He appears on Fox a lot. But we give Chris Matthews a Jack Wagon. Oracles, posthumously, Joan Muth, and Roy Holton, two friends of mine, God bless their souls, who passed away. They deserve Oracle status.
Your age
And
group?
I also was going to give Oracle status to my realtor I met with yesterday, Judy Schlottman from Sipsey Klein, who's taking care of me at the St. Bernard Banks thing and everything else. You know, realtors are a different breed. You know, the dime a dozen glamour shots. I mean, come on, man. Sorry, Judy. But anyway, everybody knows a realtor. By the way, I respect realtors for this. There's only two professions, realtors and plaintiffs' lawyers, that only get paid if you close the deal.
Close the deal.
And I respect that.
And those
but
people
anyway,
hustle.
she was bragging that she was on the 4th level. I said, what that mean? Some rating system of 4th level, and there's only 12. I said, oh. So I just wanted to tell her I was going to make fun of her on the radio, that she is only one of 12 on the 4th level, whatever the hell that is.
Before
It
Black
must be
Does
a
Belt.
anybody know what the hell
Belt.
the 4th level is? I think we need to close this segment. We'll come back with history and humor. Let's go straight to our feel-good song of the day.
Do we have that,
And the
TC?
whole idea of a feel-good song, if you're just joining us, is to make you be thinking about this song all day long. It's humming into your ears. And I will guarantee you that everybody's going to have this song in their head the rest of the day. Do you not agree?
I agree.
TC?
It's there. It's
Manfred Mann, Mighty Quinn.
Enjoyed the movie.
You know, Denzel Washington played the Mighty Quinn.
Yes, he did a good job.
And he's coming out with a new movie called Safe House with Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh.
And I think he plays a bad
He
guy.
is a bad guy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'll see that.
Yeah, he's his
Sounds
bad
good.
guy.
All the women love Denzel.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I like
Alex?
Denzel,
If
yeah.
I was a woman, I'd love Denzel.
Denzel. God. He can hang out with Jizzle.
He's a
And then we'll
man's
call her
man and a
Giselle.
woman's man. Everybody's building ships and boats. Every girl and boy. But when the Eskimo gets here. Now, what the hell does that mean? But we don't know, but who cares?
Long as it
Sounds
rhymes.
good.
Long as it rhymes.
Quinn the Eskimo. Remember, of the 5 women that I could have if I was a polygamist, one would be an Eskimo. That'd be the one that uses a blanket at night. You know, big, you know. That's what they did with the...
You got in trouble yesterday for that. Let's not go there again.
There's no Eskimos that listen to this show.
Yeah, oh, yes, there is.
We're
I
not
know.
syndicated yet.
I know
I
an
want to be
Eskimo.
on the air in Anchorage. And Juneau.
You can listen
and
to it on the
Fairbanks.
internet.
Can you name an Alaskan city besides Juneau, Fairbanks, and Anchorage?
No.
I can't.
Juno Fairbanks last year, and
The Eskimo gets you here. All the pigeons gonna run to him. What the hell does that mean? Come on. You know, these guys are on LSD when they write these lyrics, man.
I like this song.
It's a great song. The Mighty Quinn. We have a great history story coming up, a great joke, great pop culture, and you're going to have a great rant by the Bulldog. as we cover South Carolina politics and everything else. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. Just tell me where you put them, and I'll tell you who to call.
Did we not miss a break?
No, we're not a break. Are we going to miss a break today?
Nah, we never miss a break. We can't
Nobody
afford to
can
miss a
get
break.
no sleep. There's someone on everyone's toes. But when
break
Quinn the
music?
Eskimo gets here, everybody's going to want a dose.
See, you got two.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog, delivering radio superbly. We come back. A little history, a little humor, a little pop culture. Coming up, politics, South Carolina, economy.
You got too much sleep.
And
last
a
night.
rant on Real Talk 1160.
Simon Kenton defeated Mason County Tuesday 64-51. They're now 13-6 on the season. The host Grant County Friday night in a District 32 action. Pre-game coverage with Steve Jarnicki starts at 7:34. Tip-off at 8 o'clock right here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
Go Pioneers! This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160. And you know that we named as the Bulldog Nation Book Club, the very first one, is How to Beat Up Anybody by Judah Friedlander, who is a karate world champion. And since we have video now, this is fun because I can actually read this to you as a listener, but also we can pick it up. One of the chapters in his book is outdoor training in the Grand Canyon. Now, if you like Eastbound and Down and Danny McBride, that's
love that
HBO.
show.
So this guy is the Danny McBride of martial arts. Listen to what he writes here about outdoor training in the Grand Canyon. The awesomeness of nature, jumping in front of the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is one of the 10 best canyons to train in Arizona. It is barren and its terrain is rugged. Even though it's 114 degrees in the shade, I wear a sweatsuit just to get my body accustomed to even hotter conditions. And then he has these girls. These 3 girls show up, and he calls them the legged carnivorous creatures attack in groups of 3. I run down the cliff to start my 250-mile warm-up sprint. I mean, this guy is funny, dude. But anyway, we want to help him sell 10 more copies so we can brag that if you come on the Bulldog Nation Book Club, you get to sell 10 more copies.
We make you rich.
Oprah might sell 1 million. We're going to sell you 10. History story. This is a good story. By the way, this isn't getting stuck in the bathtub because it is true that William Howard Taft got stuck in the bathtub, and then his great-great-grandson, Bob Taft, pled guilty to a misdemeanor, and there's no more Tafts in politics that I know of right now. All his life, William Howard Taft had one great ambition. He wanted to be Chief Justice of the United States. TR thought Taft would be a great Supreme Court justice and wanted to appoint him to the court. But one person stood in his way. Who always stands in a man's way?
The wife.
I was going to say, if you even say the wife.
The wife.
Nellie. When Nellie Taft
Nellie.
was 17, talk about an ambitious wench, she confided in her girlfriends that her goal in life was to marry a man who would become president. You know who else said that? Mary Todd Lincoln.
Yes, she did.
My wife doesn't want me to run for freaking dog catcher.
Very tired.
She didn't want her husband on the court. She wanted him in the White House, and she was determined to get her way. By the way, back up for a second, or pause. In the show The Boss on Starz, The Boss, which is a great series.
Great series.
Kelsey Grammer plays the mayor of Chicago.
Right.
Remember the young guy running for governor?
Yes.
And he gets busted having sex by his wife and all this stuff.
Right.
And his wife, instead of divorcing him, says, "You stupid ass, you shouldn't have got caught." Because she wanted him to be governor.
She wanted to be the wife of the governor. That's
We
all
had
she.
this conversation.
Hey, by the
before.
way, if you're ever going to run for political office, I'm being serious. That's the kind of wife you want.
wrong, man.
You want an ambitious
All
witch
the trash
just
is
like
coming.
you. In 1906, TR offered Taft the next opening on the court. Taft wanted to accept. His wife told him he would be making the biggest mistake of his life. It led to a West Wing showdown between Nellie Taft and TR. There's no record of the conversation that took place between the two strong-willed people. I would say TR won. But according to White House Chief Usher Ike Hoover, it was only through the pleadings of Mrs. Taft that he was not appointed to the court. Nellie Taft had her lifelong wish fulfilled. This is irony. This will give you goosebumps. I know the story. Her husband was elected president. But Taft got his way too. After being defeated in a half-hearted bid for re-election, he was appointed Chief Justice by President Woodrow Wilson, becoming the only man to serve in both positions. Now, that's not the way I thought the story was going to end. I'll do a Paul Harvey. Now for the rest of the story.
Okay, Paul.
Right after Howard Taft was elected president, before he took office, Nellie Taft suffered a stroke.
Oh, didn't know that.
And was basically an invalid during the entire time Taft was president and Chief Justice, never getting to enjoy being First Lady.
Wow.
Her dream came true, but she couldn't
How
enjoy it.
do you like that?
That's unique. Yeah.
Be
you always got
careful.
the good story.
Are you darn right?
Yeah.
Now, see, I made the good story even better,
That's
Don,
right.
with my
Absolutely.
knowledge of history.
Oh.
Humor. I got to peruse this one. It's pretty short. During a visit to a doctor, the young man asked, well, it says during my visit to a doctor. It's not me. I'm going to say Sensible Don.
Why not?
During a visit to his doctor, Sensible Don asked him, how do you determine whether or not a retiree should be put in an old age home? Well, the doctor said, we fill up a bathtub, then we offer a teaspoon, a teacup, and a bucket to the retiree and ask him or her to empty the bathtub. Oh, I understand, Sensible Don said. A normal person would use the bucket because it is bigger than the spoon or the teacup. Where's the rest of my story here?
Now.
Oh, no.
The punchline is this. You belong in a nursing home, Don. A normal person would unplug the plug at the bottom of the bathtub.
That'd be the normal thing
That's
to
cute.
Thank God I had read the joke earlier. I had to finish it on my own.
Yes.
Are you ready for some pop culture
I
to
love
make
pop
up
culture.
with that lousy joke?
I want another joke. That one didn't work.
That was pretty funny.
Did you watch Raylan last night in Justified?
No, didn't see that.
Because I woke up, I fell asleep first of all, I'm going to do a public apology to the wife. We had dinner together. I built a fire. We were going to watch the UK game on at 9 o'clock. I decided to take a nap before the game. My lovely wife was sweet and didn't wake me up from my nap. I woke up at 12:30, and I've been up since then.
Missed the game.
I missed the game. But I got to watch Justified on replay at 106.
Okay, which is good.
Deion is slammed. Check this out. This is some smut. Deion Sanders was slammed by his wife, Pilar, in divorce proceedings. Pilar. She says he's a cheater, narcissistic, and a bully. She wants the prenup thrown out because she was under duress when she signed it.
Oh.
And she wants most of the money. Good luck with that,
Yeah.
Pilar. I suspect Deion will shift gears now. Remember, he was playing nice, and now she's going to call her a hoe, I assume all she says is true. The problem is the prenup is still valid. And you know why they go public with this? Leverage. If you don't pay her XYZ, Pilar's going to start airing your dirty laundry.
It's coming out.
You know
Hey, the
what?
lady.
You know what I never hear in these celebrity disputes, which kind of shocks me? I mean, I'm just telling, because this is what I would say if I was a woman. Hope my wife's not listening. If I was a woman and I was in a celebrity divorce, I would publicly mock his ability, his size,
that happens all the
and
time.
everything else. I've never heard that. I've never heard a celebrity
Kelsey
say,
Grammer's
"Oh
wife
my
did
God,
that.
what a
Really?
little." Really,
Kelsey
she did
Grammer's
that.
ex-wife.
Well, see, she's smart.
Yep. And she makes jokes all the time.
Because the
digging at
one
him.
thing the man would want not is one to be mocked, publicly.
Yep.
Because
Oh,
men
yep.
like when a woman brags about them.
Yes, they
Man,
do.
my man can perform.
Yep.
But now I need money. He cannot.
Did you hear
He
about
cannot perform, and
Paul-
you should see it.
Paula Dean's hypocrisy?
Oh,
I love Paula
The
Dean.
artery clogging Southern cook is now a spokesperson for a diabetes medication, which is kind of funny.
hypocrite.
She has diabetes. She cooks food that clogs her arteries
Oh, the
and
food
gives
is
us
good.
diabetes.
Yeah.
And now she's a spokesperson. I would like to say, don't eat my food and take your diabetes medicine.
Butter makes it better. That's,
I
that's
went-
her
I
slogan.
went-
I know butter makes it better.
Yeah, I
the
went-
diabetes spokesperson.
I went an hour
Remember
and a
years
half
ago
just to eat her food.
when James Garner, the guy that played Jim Rockford, he used to be the spokesman for the meat council or something like that. Then he had a heart attack.
Jeez.
my
That's like
God.
me being a spokesperson for thehumility.com.
Oh, that won't happen. That will not happen.
Bruce Jenner, successful skin cancer removal on the side of his face, but he's got a scar there. So, Mr. I've got my face stretched as tight as it can
God,
go.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
What the hell is he going to do now? Put a piece of bacon on it or what?
He had cancer removed. Which Kardashian was kicked out of the house?
Zabing, that's a good one. City Council in L.A. Earmuffs.
Oh no! Earmuffs.
City of L.A. requires now, they passed a law
I heard this.
for porn stars to wear condoms. They're the first city to require it This is another example of runaway government. Now, I got a question.
What do you think about that,
If
Don?
two people having sex on television, on video, if they don't want to wear, how can the government make them wear a condom?
It's their stuff.
It's their stuff.
And
I
I think they said they haven't proven a case of HIV in 5 years either,
Right.
without the condom.
Yeah, HIV hit the porn industry hard when it was undetected. Oh, boom.
Right.
But now they
all
play
know.
much more careful.
They pay attention.
Yep.
It's a business.
But you can get so much. I mean, the condom doesn't really help all the other skin things.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Right. Thank you very much.
Condoms.
HPV,
You know this.
herpes. You can't get rid of anything with an
All
H.
I'm glad is I'm glad I'm married because I think condoms suck.
You think they do?
Hey, sensible Don.
Yes.
Do you know what a Magnum condom is?
No.
I rest my case. We know a little bit more about you, Don. Don't we, TC? We know a little. Everybody's laughing. That we know a little bit more about you that you didn't want people to
A
know.
little bit more. Is that the hint?
A Magnum condom is for extra large.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you didn't know what one was.
Oh, well, we go a little bit different.
All right, now here's my final pop culture as we go into this break.
All right.
This is great. Miss America, who's Miss Wisconsin, on the show when she was introduced, she's smart, said, Aaron Rodgers, call me. If Miss America wanted you were single, and Miss America wanted you to call her, would you call her?
The phone be ringing.
I would call her.
The phone.
Can you imagine Miss America publicly says she wants you?
I'm blowing up her phone as we speak.
Aaron Rodgers' life. Too good to be true.
Entirely too good to be true.
When we come back, we're going to have some sports on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. That's my wife's song right there.
Is that her
Bob
favorite?
Welch. By the way, in the feel-good song of the day, young Alex loved it, and she had never heard it before.
I did.
I got this from my good buddy Ross, Bulldog Nation member. He's a very loyal Bulldog Nation member. Ross says, I will not have that song in my head because I've never heard it. Is that from the 50s again? LOL. No, Ross, that was from the 60s.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Little smart
Not
aleck.
current.
I asked TC to find.
still good, though.
I asked TC for Ross's generation to find the #1 song in America right now on the pop charts, and of course TC acts like an old washwoman because he has to do the news and do this, and he can't multitask, and he eat his oatmeal and his banana. He complains when I ask him to find something, and he's in a bad mood today. So, Ross, we're going to get the #1 song in the country.
The sun
as
is
they back
shining
up.
so bright in my eyes, it's just a rough day for me.
Is that the name of the feel-good song?
No, that was just my complaint.
I have
That was my excuse.
I have a rest in peace. Danny Evans. This is pretty cool. Now, I get these from the New York Times. Founder of the Cracker Barrel Old Country Store.
Is that right?
He was 76.
Very wealthy man.
Yeah, I would say. Although you never know. Sometimes people
Love
that
the
started
Cracker
companies.
Barrel.
I love the Cracker Barrel. That's some good cooking.
That's right.
Are you ready for some sports, Don?
Oh, absolutely. Waiting.
The Colts have fired their head coach, Jim Caldwell.
I wonder why.
2-14.
Is that the
NBA, the
pretty
Heat
bad.
beat the Spurs.
Wait a minute. Who do you think should take over as the head coach for the Colts?
Me.
All right, there you go. I made a bet with myself. I almost
Did you win?
overdrawn it. Yes, I did.
And the NBA beat the Spurs 120-98. You know what's funny, TC, is all these coaches and all of these announcers and all this, I can do their job. They can't do mine.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
Anything
Not
you
only
can
do they
you
not have
can
the
do
license,
better.
they couldn't do it.
Anything they can do, you can do better.
Let me give you an example. Marty Brenneman.
You can do it better.
I admire the hell out of that guy. He's like my broadcasting hero. He's in a league of his own, okay? I'd love to see Marty in a courtroom because he's got a temper. I'd like to see Marty. Marty would be in fact, Tracy Jones says Marty likes me, and I think probably why is because he sees me getting sanctioned. Marty's probably like, that's what I would do, Bulldog. I'd tell him off, too.
Deference to the judge, no way.
Anyway, baseball. Giants ace. This is unbelievable. Lincecum, he's offered a record $17 million. He wants 21.5
For 1 year.
for 1 year.
To throw a
God.
baseball.
The Phillies, Clay Hamill, got 1 year deal for $15 million. Big news for the Irish, and we carry Irish football right here on Real Talk. Gunner Kyle, the #1 quarterback, was headed to LSU, changed his mind and is coming to Notre Dame.
All right.
Will he come as a starter?
Go Irish.
Gunner. Other college basketball, I threw this in there because this was on when I fell asleep. Michigan 60, Michigan State 59. Good game.
That was a good game.
UK whacked Arkansas 86-63. I'm so mad they lost to Indiana because they were going to have an undefeated season. I predict the University of Kentucky Wildcats will not lose another game, and they are going to win the national championship. They have too many horses. Teague is now doing well. We've got people that are just kicking butt. Anthony Davis, 27 points, 14 rebounds, 7 block shots. He's incredible. Tebow turned down the CBS Sports request to be in the booth. Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman has arrived. The doc, and he's dressed up with a tie. And we got ho-hos and ding-dongs to taste test at the break. Let's hurry up and get this sports show over. The Reds, I just want to summarize. Marty Brenneman and Tom Brenneman, I listen to the Hot Stove League, believe the Reds have improved more than any other team in the offseason. They've got pitcher Matt Latos from San Diego, reliever Sean Marshall, reliever Anthony Brockman, outfielder Ryan Ludwig, closer Ryan Madsen. They picked up a catcher, Deanna Navarro. They're going to be tough, Sensible Don.
Oh, absolutely. I hope.
I think I might get season tickets for the Reds and Bengals this coming years.
No, you can.
I haven't had them for a while.
Tickets, huh?
I'm going to buy season tickets to both the Reds and the Bengals.
Us,
And the
right?
games you don't
Of
go
course,
to?
All right.
because the Reds. When you got season tickets, you got tickets to give away all the time.
Great.
NFL Scouting Combine is February 22nd. I've been asked to go evaluate quarterbacks for 3 NFL teams.
And
I'm going to go.
Really?
Draft April 26th. The Bengals pick 17 and 21. They're going to get somebody good.
what, 17?
And Bearcat basketball, 7 p.m. tonight, they play number 13
A
UConn.
winner. They will win.
And the Dolphins said no to Mike Zimmer. No to Mike
He's
Zimmer.
not in the final 3.
Let's cover some local news here because we don't have any sports music playing, and I think our producer is somewhere eating a banana. Whitmer, Warren County Court denies his 4th trial request, and Sunday
He's had too many.
he's had too many bananas. The Dateline at 7 p.m. re-airs The Bathtub Mystery. The Bathtub Mystery. This is local news, not the lawyers. But keep it on because we got a lot of lawyer news. Keep it going in local news. The Cincinnati Business Courier reports Ruth Chris Steakhouse is coming to the Banks. I have never
Ooh.
eaten. Patty, have you ever eaten one at Patty? Patty says no. Who stands me up again for lunch? Patty and I have been having lunch for 6 months.
And she can't make it.
She can't make it. She cancels every time. I think it makes her. I think it makes her nervous.
Is it being around
Having
you?
lunch with me is going to just makes her nervous.
Okay.
I don't
The
believe
Bank of
that.
Kentucky opens up its first Ohio branch.
Right.
The home builders in Northern Kentucky announced their winner.
Whoa. The Bank of Kentucky opens an Ohio branch?
An Ohio branch. Pretty interesting. They're going to be the Bank of Kentucky in Ohio. Ohioans will love
Okay.
that. Buckeyes will go, no, it's the Bank of Kentucky Bank. Mike Kegley was the builder of the year. From Bold, Associate of the Year, Rob Stone, CCAS Ash Insurance Company, Donald Wiedemann. Lifetime Achievement goes to Matt Tobin. The Tobins have been building homes since the 1950s in Northern Kentucky. He came over on a boat, as he likes to say, with like $11 in his pocket.
Tell me, did Ryan Whitmer kill his wife?
Yes, he did. He drowned
think so.
He drowned the hell out of her. Killed her.
think so.
As we say in Kentucky, he killed her dead.
Simple as that.
He killed her dead. That's that Harlan County blood coming out of me. Now, this headline in my newsletter, you guys are going to find this interesting, is Fire the Lawyers. Fire the lawyers.
All of them?
2 Cincinnati City Council members proposed doing away with the city's law department, about $6 million. Chris Smitherman, who we ought to give Oracle status for.
Yes.
He says, let's get rid of that department, 80 employees, including 40 lawyers, and let the Hamilton County prosecutor and Joe Deters do it for $4 million and save $2 million.
Sound like a deal
Makes
to me?
sense to me.
Man.
Peter Stackpole's my buddy. He's a lawyer over there. He's like one lawyer handling like all the police misconduct cases. We just settled 2 of them. You know why those cases settled?
Why?
Peter Stackpole don't have time to litigate them. So I think this is a bad idea, Chris Smitherman, for me. It's a great idea for the taxpayers, but I like Peter Stackpole having too much to do, so he keeps settling cases. By the way, the 2 cases that settled, one, well, I don't know if I got a confidentiality or not, so I better not speak. Never mind. No, wait, it can't be confidentiality because it's public money. Okay. One, a cop at a school tased a middle schooler at lunch.
Oh my God.
She got
For his
out of
milk
line.
money?
She got out of line.
Give me your milk money.
Yeah, I think we ought to settle that case.
Yeah.
And then another one was the guy that got beat up by the cops and was captured on video for no good reason. He was a young kid, and then they falsified their police reports. Even Tom Stryker said they screwed up. Now, my next topic was called Jail the Lawyers. And the FinFin lawyers were before the Sixth Circuit yesterday arguing that the federal district judge who sanctioned me, his name was Judge Danny Rees. Judge, I'm not saying anything negative about you. I'm just reporting that you were the judge that sanctioned me, and the judge in their courtroom said that he made a lot of mistakes in that trial. And you know what? They might win.
The FinFin?
Judge Billingsley kind of filled me in. I mean, they've kind of messed up. You know, they messed up all these things. It's like the prosecution by bar counsel of Stan Chesley. They've screwed it up, man. Yeah. You know, they fixed the judge. It's like, okay, let's say somebody we hate like Barack Obama. How do you think Barack Obama would feel? Let's say Barack Obama's got to come in here for a trial, okay? Now, what if the three of us, I'm using this as an example. Now, what if, everybody knows how I feel about Barack Obama. Right. What if us three got to pick the judge for Barack Obama? Who could we pick that doesn't like Barack Obama to be his judge? That's what they did to Stan Chesley in Kentucky. Good old Kentucky. That's why I'm moving my entire law office down the hall here.
Sounds like
major announcement.
Soon?
It's happening. We're negotiating the lease. The Bulldog is bringing his Bulldog legal team to downtown Cincinnati at the Fox 19 building, which basically means Mike Allen, who I really like, is going to start losing gigs because if I'm in the building, Fox 19 will say, let's go up and see Bulldog. I mean, it's going to be too easy for him. You watch Mike Allen right now saying, man, there's a room in there. I got to move in that building, too.
Do they allow pets in the building?
Yeah, I hope. If they don't, I'll just smuggle whiskey, and I don't follow rules. You know that I'll get sanctioned by the landlord.
Why didn't you bring whiskey in today?
Sanctioned.
Why don't you ever bring
There was
whiskey
another
in?
big legal announcement that I had. What was it? I won some kind of case the other day. I forgot what it was. Oh, well, I forget.
Running for governor? Senator?
No, I'm not going to run for governor. I'm just going to run for president one day. All right. After everybody that was in my closet, my skeletons in my closet, if they all die, then I'm going to run for president. I might be like 115. Well, there's the last one died. Nobody's got any dirt on me now. I think I can run for president. Coming up, we have Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman will join us from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery. And on air, we're going to have a ding-dong and a ho-ho taste test because my wife says they taste different, and I say no. On Real Talk 1160.
Get your healthy radio addiction with Laura Ingram, 9 to noon today on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
You know, there's nothing worse than when you're the boss. This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160, and you tell somebody to do something, they don't do it.
Is that right?
I have told TC repeatedly, this should be our theme song for Green Water. Give me some water. Has he done one editorial bit with give me some water, give me green water?
Why are you falling down on the job, TC?
Do what? Falling down on the job? What job?
Let's just leave TC out of today's show. TC's out of today's show. All right, here we go.
I got a feel-good song for you that's current. So that you just go ahead and talk.
Now, how do you pronounce her name? Because she won some awards. Adele. Adele won a lot of awards.
Yeah.
So this is Adele. Okay, this is for you, Ross. This is for you, Ross. This is a top 40 song. Rolling in the Deep. Here's got a little beat to it.
Ain't no Ray Charles there.
See how loyal I am and kind I am to my friends?
Yeah.
Little Ross out there complaining we don't have a modern song, and I give him one.
You good.
Bulldog Nation is responsive. Is that Adele? Well, I'm not going to make a comment.
That's her right there.
She can't help what she looks like, but she must have a great voice because she's not the typical hot pop singer.
And she says she's not going to try to alter her look or anything.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
What do you mean good for her?
Well,
wait.
Adele, Dr. Kurtzman, let me introduce you to Adele. She's got a lot of money, and she has a lot of needs. Perfect match.
Perfect match.
You could make a fortune on Adele.
What Adele meant to say was she hasn't met a plastic surgeon who could qualify. Of course, she hasn't been to Cincinnati to meet Dr. Kurtzman. That's what she meant to say.
There you go. Let's put her on the show.
That's a good idea.
Now, before we get to our taste test, it just was reported that obesity, 1 in 3 adults are obese, and 1 in 6 children are obese, which kind of reminds me of something that we but apparently all the Americans, at least 1 in 3 Americans and 1 in 6 kids, that's the way they're going through life. But we talked about Hostess going bankrupt, and I told my wife, we were talking about it on the radio, and I told my wife, I said, you know what's funny about, I said king dongs, but they're ding dongs. Ding dongs.
They used to be called king dongs.
I'm a little worried that my wife knew what the correct name was. Ding dongs and ho-hos taste the same. Now, here we are, and those of you, we're going to describe this to you, but Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman from the Kurtzman Plastic Surgery Group, just so you know, he's an advertiser here, so I've got to say that 96 freaking times every time he comes on here. I don't like doing it. He's a pain in the butt, but I got to do it. But anyway, welcome to our taste test, Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman.
Good morning.
Now, and then we have... part of our taste, everybody's got a ho-ho and a ding-dong. Some of us got 3. Anyway, here we are. Patty's here. Jacob, the video person. Now, let's taste the ding-dong first. The ding-dong we're going to taste first. So here we go.
While you guys are tasting, let me give you a little history.
We gave you one, too.
I'm going to eat mine after I eat my banana.
Oh, my God.
They were at one time called King Dons, D-O-N.
All right, ding-dong has sugar, imagine that. Water, and rich bleached. I'm going to choke on my ding dong. All right.
This is not a good endorsement.
Now, we don't have any, what's it called, sorbet to wash the palate. So everybody take a bite of the ding dong.
Where I grew up, these were called scooter pies.
Scooter pies? Where the hell did you grow up?
In the Garden State.
New Jersey?
New Jersey.
The scooter pies?
The scooter pie.
Bada bing, bada bing, bada bing.
And ding dongs were called yodel.
Now, has everybody had their ding dong? All right, now let's go to the ho-ho. And stop looking at the women eat the ho-ho, Sensible Don. Come on. We're keeping this taste test clean. Don't look at Alex and Patty. Now, let's taste the ho-ho. All right, guys, they taste the damn same.
No, they don't. There's a slight difference.
You know what? There might be a slight. All right, let's go around now. You don't even taste. You stay out of this, TC.
Hey, listen, I'm a Hostess ho-ho connoisseur.
All right, Sensible Don, ding dong and ho-ho.
Same stuff.
I say the same. What about you, Alex?
I think the ding dong.
Here, I got to give you a microphone.
I think the ding dong's a little different.
All right.
They're both awful, though.
You know what?
Texture.
You know what? I agree with you, Alex. They're both. I just feel like I ate a chemistry experiment. I mean, let's finish. This is the ingredients I didn't read on the ding dong when I started to choke. Have you ever heard? Now, those of you that are chemistry majors are going to say, "Come on, Bulldog. Those are. Everybody knows what those are. Diglycerides.
Oh yeah, diglycerides.
Lecithin.
Yeah.
Monocalcium phosphate, polysorbate.
Good stuff.
I know what glucose is. Oh, by the way, these are actually healthy because they contain wheat, milk, egg, and soybeans.
Oh.
You got all your food groups there.
Now, doctor, you're a doctor, so you're smarter than everybody in the room.
Hey, he's the smartest guy in the room.
Now, what is your opinion of the ding dong and the ho hos, whether they taste the same or not?
I do not think they taste the same. I think I like the ding dongs a little bit better.
They're different.
Yeah, they're a little bit different. They're all they are a chemistry experiment, though.
Oh my God, man! I just want everybody to know that I am not going to finish my ding dong and ho ho. I'm throwing mine away. Now, here's why this is important.
They're different.
I'm going to give a diet tip for everybody. I already started the show out when I drink a gallon of water every day from a jug, like a moonshine bottle. I don't know about salads. Eat salads, you're going to lose weight. And my favorite salad to go, sorry, all of our sponsors. By the way, maybe I shouldn't say this. Or maybe we can get some money from them. Maybe this will spur Montgomery. All right. This goes out to Snappy, who I own, so I guess I could get them free if I want them. Montgomery Inn, Grandview Tavern, Mediterranean, what's it called? Cafe Mediterranean, what else? Aroma. All right, now listen. I eat salad. So Olive Garden, I sent tickets. I sent Parker out to Olive Garden to get me 6 salads. I got 3 in the refrigerator at the office, 3 at the refrigerator at home. So when I'm hungry, instead of eating ding dongs and ho-hos, I'll eat a good salad. Maybe one of our sponsors wants to supply me with a month-long salad. Just trying to get some, free salad here. That's all. Is that payola? Could be. Sorry. All right.
We'll edit that part out. Don't worry about it.
Did you hear about this in science? The AeroShot caffeine inhaler. Now, Doc, I don't care what Alex and Don has to say about this. I want to hear what you had to say. Well, maybe Alex, because she has to stay up all night studying. The same dude who has invented, this is unbelievable, he invented breathable chocolate. It contains this AeroShock contains a puff of lime-flavored caffeine powder. One squeeze, and you receive 40 milligrams, which is about the same as a 12-ounce Mountain Dew. You know what? I am a free enterprise guy. And, people could swallow a bottle of no dose, so I think this is okay. But I have to admit, this is going to be funny seeing all these people. Oh, my God, half the class just got asthma. I mean, going, shooting up with caffeine. What do you think about this?
Well, I'm just worried that it looks like they're snorting something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just another artificial way to stimulate the body, and I'm against a lot of this stuff, this 5-hour energy stuff.
Are you against stimulation?
Certain stimulation. Unnatural stimulation.
Bulldog Nation, we want to go on record. We support stimulation.
There you go. Put that ho-ho out of your mouth.
Wait a minute. You did not support the president's last stimulus bill.
I want to say
How
something.
Can you say you support stimulation?
If Dean Gregory and his wife are taking the kids to the school, I apologize. Now, Alex, what do you think about this? Because you have to stay up all night. My daughter, Erica, sorry, Eric, I'm going to out all your friends. She says she just takes caffeine like her dear old dad. But Erica says everybody in her law school class is taking, not all of them, but a big group, Adderall, caffeine. They're taking anything and everything to stay awake all night. Is there an epidemic of Adderall at the University of Cincinnati Law School?
Not that I know of. I personally would definitely stay away from all the Adderall and even those 5-hour energy things. I think they taste awful to start, and I don't want to get addicted to them. Coffee, I'll do.
You know what's good about caffeine, though, Doc, and you disproved this statement. I'm going to go toe-to-toe with you in science.
Talk to me.
It's my understanding, Dr. Kurtzman, from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery Group. Is that the 92nd time?
I'm keeping track.
And Kenwood, that caffeine, unlike other bad drugs, is non-addictive.
Oh, I believe caffeine is addictive.
Yes, it
I
is.
disagree because I've been taking caffeine and I'm not addicted to it. I can just not take it.
For how long? Well, as long as you sleep.
You can get a headache sometimes without having it, but I'm telling you right now, as a caffeine connoisseur, I pop caffeine pills, Doc. I take 200 milligrams of no dose.
Well, I'm glad you're not addicted.
I want to tell you, but no, I want to tell you something. If I go like a week without caffeine, which happens, I don't have any withdrawals from it.
When's the last time you went a week without caffeine?
A week ago. I'm not kidding you. I didn't take caffeine all last week.
Really? No pills, no coffee?
Does it sound like I got 200 milligrams of caffeine right now? I got some more caffeine?
The throwback.
It is known to be an addictive drug.
And our final science as we go into this break, the U.S. and EU, European Union, want to make an agreement about conduct in space to deal with space debris. When we come back, general news and a rant from the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. This is the Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman hour of our show.
And he joins us. You didn't complete the survey. The ding-dong survey compared to what Alex bought yesterday. You messed that up.
Oh, you mean the donuts were much better.
Which were?
By the way, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I have decided, this is a fact, either tomorrow or Friday, I'm being serious, tomorrow or Friday, I am going to bring in, I'm going to come in early, and I am going to make you, I got the grill, I got everything, I'm going to make you my Bulldog pancakes.
Yes.
And they're going to be hot off the grill with syrup, butter, and everything else.
Aunt Jemima?
Aunt Jemima.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
Now, at the next segment, I want you all to stick around because I'm going to go on a little political rant. But I promised everybody that I was going to do it in an unraised voice, but not the Joe Buck monotone voice. Some general news. This is kind of scary. Young white men, ages like 19 to 25, have been drowning, it's true, in lakes, rivers, and ponds in Wisconsin and Minnesota. There's like over 20 of them. The latest is the Green Bay Packer offensive coordinator's son. And there is absolutely no question this cannot be like randomly happening. There's no way. I mean, come on. In the middle of winter, this kid, he's out, he gets maybe separated why it's happening, but it's kind of spooky. I'm actually going to tell my kids, hey, you be careful. And if somebody wants to go take a look at a lake, or, you never know. Be a little careful. It's kind of scary. The cruise. Yeah, the update on the Poseidon venture. We now call him Captain Coward. 11 dead, 23 missing, unfortunately. By now you've heard the tape of the Coast Guard official ordering him to go back and him saying no. But I want to shift gears on it. Carnival Cruise Lines, their stock is taking a tank. They're having a problem with bookings now and everything else. But I gotta ask this rhetorical question to the team here. Why in the hell does anybody want to go on a cruise? And the first thing you do when you get on a cruise, because I've been on one cruise, you get on a cruise, they have all right, this is what happens if something happens on the boat. You go here, this is where the boats are, this is where the life jackets are. And I'm sitting there thinking, why do I want to expose myself to this? Furthermore, I'm going to keep going on this. I went on one cruise one time with the wife and kids, and I felt like a trapped lion. I hated it. It's like, hey, man, and by the way, my phone bill, they have the phone you can call. This was before cell phones. Baloney. I called from the ship, everybody and anybody, because I was bored. I want to tell you right now, I hated the cruise. And I agree with the guy from the Fox 5 who said, you know what? Okay, there's a casino. Well, I can go to the casino without going on a cruise. You want to go drink, you can go drink. You want to go to the health club. There's no reason to go on a cruise.
I've been on 12. I love every one of them.
You're an idiot.
Well, that's why they're in business, because there's lots of people that like that.
You know why? You know why you like them?
Why?
Because you never got anything to do, Don. You're not in a hurry. So
heard.
You love a cruise. You don't have anything to do, so you like them.
I get to visit people from foreign lands. I get to see the banana plant. What you
Who
talking
cares about seeing people from foreign lands?
Wait a minute. Something you missed.
Are you collaborating with terrorists?
You got that right. You missed something. You should have went to the mud volcano, Bulldog. That's your problem. You don't get off the boat.
Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman from the Kurtzman Plastic Surgery Group, what do you think of this issue of cruises? I imagine as a doctor, you've been on those medical cruises with all the hot nurses.
Tax deductible.
There you go. I want to hear about that mud mountain. Are they doing some mud wrestling there?
I got a story about the mud mountain. We went to the mud mountain. Listen, Bulldog, we went to the mud mountain. Everybody was going to the mud mountain.
I'm ready to turn to the next topic.
Okay, wait a minute. They got on the bus, and this beautiful young girl was sitting across from me on the bus on the way to the mud mountain. We going down the road, all of a sudden she started taking her clothes off. And I nudged her. I said, look at this.
Okay, here we go.
She took
will you let this man answer the question?
She took all her clothes off.
Thanks, Doc, for asking about the mud mountain.
To her bikini to go into the mud mountain. And I'm sitting, she's from Europe.
By the way, there was one thing that I did enjoy on the cruise. I'm going to admit it. They got this thing called the top deck. And I accidentally walked up there one day.
You didn't belong.
And I looked around and said, these must be Europeans up here. Anyway, what do you think about cruises?
Well, I think they're great. I think they're a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of things to do, but they're not for everybody. It's just like any type of trail. They're not for the Bulldog.
No, definitely not for the Bulldog.
Let's talk some law. You know something about that, but nothing about cruises. Did you know, guys? Doctor, what do you think of this? Texas law, a federal appeals court has upheld a decision that allows that they can enforce a state law that requires doctors to perform a sonogram before an abortion and show it to the patient. I say good law. You know what? Here, this is what you're going to abort right here. Yeah. Sensible Don, what do you think?
Not a good law.
Damn liberal.
The government should have nothing to do with that woman's body.
I guess you agree with him, right?
I'm with Don. I think the women's choice is the woman's choice.
Alex is doing the hand right.
Yeah. I agree with Don. But I don't say he's liberal. I say that's libertarian. That's more libertarian than liberal.
Hey, let me tell you something. The murder of human life is not a choice.
Agreed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, you know that you listen to me, you listen to this show because of me and not these people, and they just proved why it's again. I now have liberal sidekick who's got a liberal sidekick and a liberal sponsor. Jamie Sloy, how do I fire these people? This is a Christian broadcasting, and only the Bulldog stands up for human life.
You don't have firepower.
Human life is not a choice.
Human rights more than
Let's go on to the next case before I get irate.
But then you don't want to support these people with more taxes, do you?
This is classic.
Thank you very much.
A North Carolina man has filed a lawsuit against the city police department who allegedly detained and tortured him during a hostage situation at a local bank. Get this. He was the hostage. After he was released as a hostage, he says the police threw him down on the ground, yanked his arm behind his back, dragged him across the field in handcuffs. What the hell are they doing that to the hostage for?
Well, they may have thought it was a setup. They didn't know that it was a hostage. It could be a lot of things.
Oh, my
God.
The inside man.
Don't you ever watch these TV shows?
All right. Let me
That's a good
see.
excuse for online banking, though. Good argument there.
Teen awarded $1 million for abuse at camp. 2 teenagers in South Carolina have been awarded $500,000 each in a lawsuit against Clemson's University's Camp Bob Cooper. That sounds a little gay. Over treatment of the boys by a camp counselor. The lawsuit claimed the counselor forced the boys to play violent games against their will, like, I don't know. Here, let's play bow and arrows with real bow and arrows. I mean, what the hell were the violent games?
Football. We had to play
Violent games?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
They got a swirly. That's what happened.
Can you tell us about on the air or off the air?
I can tell you about it on the air.
What violent games did you play at pool camp?
Yeah, give her the mic.
Pool camp. Okay, it wasn't pool camp. It was one of my swim practices. And our coach, who will remain nameless, would put us in each group in the 4 corners of the pool.
Oh, Coach Simpson.
No. And he would say, you
Remain
have to get
nameless
to the other
means
side
something.
of the pool. No rules, no regulations. You could punch people in the eye. You could kick them.
What?
You could go under the water. You could go over
Is
the
the
water.
statute of limitation ran on this case? Because I would like to have a class action lawsuit.
Actually, yeah, I think it probably has.
Where
This
was
a few years
this?
ago. This was at the Cincinnati Marlins.
Is this still going on?
No, I don't think it is anymore. But
I'm coming after you, Cincinnati Marlins.
one guy got stitches though from this.
Oh,
You're allowed
you
to
beat him
punch
up?
each other.
No, I really did not like this coach, so I kind of refused to play, and I waited for everybody else to battle it out, and then I just swam across.
Alex is our own person.
There you go.
And then finally in law, a Georgia company that has been licensing contracts with the University of Oklahoma has filed a lawsuit against a casket company that is using the OU logo on caskets. The lawsuit claims the casket company is improperly using university logos. The lawsuit is seeking $75,000 in damages. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you're a member of Bulldog Nation, you have my express permission to put the Bulldog logo on your casket as you are laid to rest 6 feet under. Or you can put it on your urn if you are roasted and fried and ashed. I mean, is that not hilarious? People are putting logos on caskets.
What, you would dig him up and sue him now? What?
No, I'm giving permission. I want my Bulldog Nation. You get that privilege free. You can put my logo on anything.
Hey, University, he's
Like
only
a
going to
cot.
use it
Hey. We ought to offer a prize for the first woman that tattoos the Bulldog on her body.
once. What part of the body,
All right,
Bulldog?
here you go. You get to come on the air here, live.
here we
The
go.
first woman that gets a Bulldog logo tattoo.
What part of the body?
Any part of
It
her
has to
body.
be clear.
Any part of her body.
Alex, you've done pretty
Security.
good. I know what
will you cover the cost of the
Look how nervous he
tattoo?
gets. Security.
Are you going to cover the cost of the tattoo?
No, I'm not going to pay for the tattoo. I'm letting him.
I would if somebody put my logo on their body.
Is that something?
He has no shame in his game.
None whatsoever.
Why don't you go give somebody Botox?
Doc will pay for it.
I will be soon.
You up for that, Alex?
What?
Put the Doc's logo.
God no.
She's sticking with the Bulldog.
You know what? This is
She
this
does.
is great.
He can give her a job.
This is great. I got this email, and this is good news. This is really good news. I got an email from a company in the tri-state, which is a pretty big company, and I got an email out of the blue from them, and they said, "You are a branding genius. Can we get involved with sponsoring and what they want to? It's beginning." No kidding. This company called me a branding genius, Dr. Kurtzman. You want to let me take over your branding?
I'm trying
Or
to.
Botoxing.
You got 96 times
And
to
again,
mention me on the
this
air.
is Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman of the Kurtzman Plastic Surgery.
There
A
you go.
rant when we come back on
Rant.
Real Talk 1160.
Brand Bulldog.
Laura Ingram comes your way 9 o'clock till noon today on Real Talk 1160. And now you're on the air. Back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. And I have a few things that I'd like to say. And when we come back after the break, we're going to dive into the South Carolina politics to end the show for the last 30 minutes. And what I'm about ready to discuss ties into that a little bit. And that's this. Newt Gingrich the other night on the debate stage, something dramatic happened, and it appeared to be very spontaneous. When Juan Williams challenged him with this janitor idea, this janitor, having, kids working in schools as janitors, challenge him and the food stamp idea and being the food stamp president. He got challenged by Juan Williams, and instead of folding like a cheap lawn chair, Newt Gingrich fired back. And he said, I hope everybody on this stage agrees with me. It's about jobs, jobs, and jobs. And you know what? Newt Gingrich is right. And I thought to myself last night, this hit me like a ton of bricks when I was doing the newsletter. I thought to myself, my God, what have I been pushing on the radio just over and over again? God, Constitution, capitalism, the 3 pillars of Bulldog Nation. I keep talking about the idea of work till you die. You know, everybody on Social Security, raise the age of Social Security. People take care of their senior citizens. All these people that are on Social Security disability because they're bipolar, give them the lithium and get them off the darn Social Security disability. It goes on and on and on. And I thought to myself, and then this other coming through the debate is about dividing America. We've had Republicans. Barack Obama is trying to divide America, and Democrats divide America. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, America is divided. And I would just like to say that's okay. There are times when compromise is good, and there are times when compromise is bad. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, America is divided. And you know how they're divided? They're divided with people pulling the wagon, and they're divided with people riding in the wagon. I would like to know, if you look at the national head-to-head poll between Romney and Obama, it's 47% Obama, 46% Romney. When I take a look around this great country of ours, and I see where we stand on every major issue, which I'm not going to rehash in this rant, I'm thinking to myself, who the hell can those 47% people be? And, of course, I know who they are. They're women. They're young people. They're senior citizens. They are African Americans. There are Hispanics. You know, they're liberals, the elitists, the teachers. That's who's in that group. But let me tell you something, folks. There is a war being waged politically in this country for the heart and soul of America. And you know what? America's divided. And you know what I say? Let it be divided. Pick a side and let's have a war. And I was thinking, how would we get to where we are? How could the great country of America get to the state that it's in? And you know what it is? The lack of education for children and high schoolers about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, what it means to be an American. It's the pop culture. It's the internet. It's all the Kardashian reality television. It's the whole pot of things that people just have turned America into something that it once never was. We have apathy in America. We have people that don't care. They're getting their check. They don't care. They're getting their government check. They don't care. We have a soft America. We've got a fat America. New report. 1 in 6 kids are fat asses. 1 in 3 adults, fat asses. We have ignorance in America. People don't know who the president is, they might know who the vice president is, who their senators are. It's the lack of education. It's an apathy. Who's to blame? We are. All of us who are adults that give a damn are to blame. And you know what? It is insidious. It is insidious. You got situations like they're making fun of the Republicans and attacking the Republicans for having a debate on Martin Luther King Day when Barack Obama and Hillary and the Black Congressional Caucus had one in 2008. That's okay. You know, I listened to Debbie Wasserman Schultz go off on how she goes, well, the Democratic Party, you know, we embrace all these groups, and the Republican Party shun them and everything else. Are you kidding me? And I am really, really, really going out on a limb, and we'll see if somebody saws it off on me. Do you know what? There are lots of groups that have joined the Democratic Party, and you know why those groups have joined the Democratic Party? Because the Democratic Party is the free ride Democratic Party, so they want their free ride. They want to be part of the Democratic Party. So examine. When Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I'm going to let the groups come out of her mouth, not mine. When she goes through the groups of people that endorse the Democratic Party, that coalition that they have, ask yourself this question. Well, why would all those organizations, all those groups, all those demographics support the Democratic Party? Because they want the free ride. And let me tell you something. It's not going to change. Although, you know, just because the timing of this, we got a presidential election coming up, I suppose that if a Republican is elected president and the Republicans keep the House and the Republicans keep the United States Senate, not because of the establishment Republicans, but solely solely because of the fact that we got a Tea Party that holds their feet to the fire, my guess is we can reverse the course of this country. But if that doesn't happen, and I'm being serious, if that doesn't happen, the only way it's going to change, folks, is an armed revolution on Washington. Look what happened last night. Some Occupy Washington folks showed up. By the way, I want to compliment them. Excuse me, I call. I want to compliment them. They're finally occupying the right space. And they threw a couple smoke bombs on the White House lawn. Now, guess what? The National Park Service is letting these folks stay in this park indefinitely. No permit. And I thought to myself, now, listen to that. They show up unannounced, no permit, and they're hanging out on that park. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, what do you think they would do if there were thousands of good, hardworking Americans show up with guns and say we're not going to take it anymore? Because let me tell you something. If Barack Obama gets reelected and or the Democrats hold on to the Senate or take the House, it's over. America, as we know it, is over. They're adding regulation after regulation after regulation. You look at Obamacare. You look at it's a 2,800-page monstrosity, and it's adding 16,000 IRS agents. We're having 1099 forms. The doctors are overwhelmed and burdened. Hospitals overwhelmed and burdened with forms and regulation. And Dodd-Frank Act has 254 regulations, and the regulations lead to more rules and drowning in paper. And the reason why people like Ron Paul catch hold on to so many voters is because Ron Paul preaches liberty. The Democratic Party, led by Barack Hussein, I'm an American with free speech, hate his guts, Obama. He and the Democrats want this. They play this card of, we'll take care of you. America owes you. America needs to take care of you. America needs to take care of you senior citizens. America needs to take care of you poor people. America needs to take care of all of you. And these same people attack Newt Gingrich for wanting to get inner city people in New York, these kids, an opportunity to work and make a paycheck. They're the same people that attack McDonald's, which is the biggest job trainer in the country. So, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, America is divided. It's going to stay divided. It is a war. And you know what? You hear this cliche all the time. This is the most important election in my lifetime. Well, you know what? I'm 48 years old, and I've been around for a lot of important elections. I think Reagan taking out Carter was pretty damn important. After that, to be candid with you, I don't think any of these elections were the most important, but it is now. Maybe the last one. Thank you, John McCain. John McCain's got nerve to go out there and attack Obama when that chicken, you know what, wouldn't use all the cards that were handed him to expose Barack Obama. John McCain is a tyrant, just like any other tyrant. And let me tell you something. If it doesn't happen, if we don't win this battle, in 2012, it's over. And the only thing that is going to happen is that the government takes over everything. We have the city council of L.A. adopting a law requiring porn stars to wear condoms. Is that liberty? Look around, folks. If you look at the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, America was built on liberty. I saw Mark Levin, the great one, on Hannity last night, talk about his book, Ameritopia, and he's quoting the Founding Fathers and everything else. And he's right. And he talks about that's where America's becoming and how we get there. And one final thought. You know, when Newt was talking about jobs, can you imagine if I was on that stage and talking about work till you die and all these things? That crowd would have done a standing ovation from the beginning to the end. Remember my slogan, work till you die, take care of each other? Just think how that would have gone over with that audience. I mean, it is time to stand up and do something. You got to examine your conscience. What are you doing to fight the battle? And stop playing this, ooh, America needs to come together, kumbaya. There is only one principle that brings America together. All of our love for liberty. The problem is, half of America, somewhere along the line, decided they'd rather give up the liberty for a government check. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Let's get right to it. A lot of news going on in the political front, and we'll go through it quickly. Barack Obama picks Jeffrey Zients, a former Bain man, to head the Office of Management and Budget. Now, Axelrod has criticized Romney as having a Bain mentality. What do you think, Dr. Kurtzman? He's appointed a Bain man as the head of the Office of Management and Budget. Kind of funny. And they didn't mention that when they appointed him.
Oh, I know. It's amazing what they do. And between sessions, he just takes over and kind of runs the place.
Newt Gingrich had the campaign quote of the day yesterday. In a response to a question on Obama, he said, "I don't want to bloody his nose. I want to knock him out." I like that kind of talk. And here's I'm going to do an analysis of the current race real quick. Newt's problem is Paul and Santorum won't get out of the race. Santorum's problem is Newt and Paul won't get out of the race. And Paul's problem is Newt and Santorum won't get out of the race. Do you agree with me, Dr. Kurtzman?
Well, I think if one of them's going to take down Romney, that they all kind of have to get together. When they're all pulling 10% of the vote,
they're
and
too
Romney's getting
selfish.
35.
They're too selfish. It's not going to happen.
Well, if you go into politics, by definition, you're too selfish.
Yep.
Wait a minute. These are all Republican politicians, are they not?
Yes,
Yes.
they
What
are.
are they fighting for? To get rid of Obama, right?
Yes.
But they destroy each other to do that. What kind of sense does that make?
Doesn't make any sense.
Thank you very much.
Sarah Palin. Todd endorsed Newt, and she says if she was in South Carolina, she'd vote for Newt. She's like everyone else. She praises Newt's debate performance. But why not a full-fledged endorsement? There's something going on behind the scenes there. But, I mean, if Sarah Palin says, I would vote for Newt Gingrich if I was a voter in South Carolina, isn't that a damn endorsement?
Yeah, of course it is. Maybe she's looking,
wants
if he
something.
wins, she wants to be vice president.
She wants something.
All of them want something. Why do people say that? Oh, they want something? That's the politician's job.
To
To
want
get something. I mean,
South Carolina votes on Saturday, and then Florida votes, real quick, just 10 or 11 days later, the January 31st. It's going to be tough to stop Romney if he wins South Carolina, because in Florida, he's been airing TV commercials, the big state. You can't, in 10 days, it's going to be tough. Romney is actually lucky that there's another debate on Thursday night. CNN sponsors it, because he was playing prevent defense the other night during the debate. Just don't make a major mistake. Don't make a major mistake. He ended up making a major mistake on the tax return issue, and Newt Gingrich had standing ovations. I'll guarantee you that this debate, they're going to tell Romney, hey, we played it too safe to the vest. You got to go out there and redeem yourself. Because Romney was doing great in the debates until he said, okay, we're going to play hide the ball and ride this thing out. And Newt Gingrich took advantage of it. However, the latest poll, after South Carolina, after that debate, he's still up 10 points. And I heard on the Washington Times report on the way in here, they had somebody from the University of Clemson who does the polling there. He says that in South Carolina, he goes, the media isn't reporting this, that Mitt Romney is carpet bombing with robocalls, direct mail, television, radio, South Carolina. It is Mitt Romney anywhere, everywhere. It's incredible.
Well, he knows that if he wins South Carolina,
Right.
it's over.
Right.
And
Right.
hopefully the rest of the crew will give in and
Right.
say, okay, Mitt, it's your job, and let's move forward and win the election in November.
And see, I completely disagree now. If those conservatives would have got together and there would have been one non-conservative, they would have done well up to this point. The problem is, even if it's mano to Newt, mano to mano Paul, all of the money and all the momentum and all the endorsements, it's all going to start flowing to Romney. And even if there's one conservative standing after Florida, it's too late.
It's too late.
Mr. Oops is polling last. Oh, this guy from Clemson made another great point. And I thought about it, and I said, he's right. He says, it used to be, he thought like Perry, being a Texas governor, would do well there in South Carolina. He says, you know what? People don't realize that America is not the same as it once was, state by state. He says every state's a little different, but because of the media and the access and everything else, and I never thought about this, I think America's connected a lot more than they are previously geographic. Now, it doesn't mean that there's still not some differences in Massachusetts and Georgia, but when you really think about that, I think there probably is, in the modern age, less nuances and differences state by state. He actually said, he goes, who would ever think that South Carolina GOP would elect a moderate from Massachusetts? But he says, to be honest with you, there's not much difference anymore between us down here in New Hampshire. I mean, that's what a Clemson University poll said. What do you think, Doctor?
Well, I think there's got to be a lot more closeness between all the states. You have so much media. Everybody's hearing the same media nationally, on the internet, radio stations, and it's a national media. It's a world media now. You hear things so quickly, you just don't have to wait. It used to be that you'd hear things in your state, now it'd be it, and so you'd have a Democratic state, a Republican state, and now things, I think, more central in a lot of the states.
Romney came out yesterday and said his tax rate is effectively 15%. Now, why is that? It's because he basically, he doesn't have a regular job getting ordinary income paying 35%. It's on investments. Well, Newt was funny. He goes after that and calls it's going to be the Romney tax cut. They're going to make it 15% across the board, which is fine with me. I think ordinary income ought to be taxed at 15%. But I think it's much to do about nothing. They're trying to make hay with it. I mean, obviously, this release of tax returns, which always cracks me up because we haven't seen Barack Obama's transcripts. Hillary Clinton released her senior essay. That hasn't happened with Obama. But the bottom line is that, I think it's a non-issue, but they're trying to make a big issue. Sensible Don, do you think this is an issue where he came out and said my income was taxed at 15% because it was investment income? I don't think it's a big issue. Plus, South Carolina has plenty of retirees. Their investments are being taxed at 15%. I don't know if any Republicans would say you ought to pay more tax.
But again, American people are ignorant of taxes and they're ignorant of politics. So you throw this out at them and they won't vote for the man simply because he's an earning human being. Simple.
Well, I think they're using it to make people feel like he's hiding something.
Right. Absolutely.
This came up in a discussion I overheard, which I thought was interesting. Do you all know Ron Paul is going to be 81 when he takes the office of presidency if he wins? And you know what? I thought to myself, he is an obvious great physical and mental shape. I say good for him, and I'll bet you Ron Paul would support the Bulldog Nation work till you die mantra. Does it concern you that he's 81, Dr. Kurtzman? It doesn't concern me.
Yeah, I think Ronald Reagan was in his 80s when he was
left.
president also.
When he left.
Yeah.
When he left. What about you, Sensible Don?
It doesn't concern me at all because I will work until the day they put me in a box.
Well, I think Ron Paul, he doesn't look 80 if you ask me.
That's because of Kurtzman plastic surgery.
Thank you very much. You missed the shot, Bulldog.
Lawrence Kurtzman at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery. Now, here's something that maybe I can agree with Sensible Don on before I skewer him on the abortion issue. I agree with Rick Santorum's position. If you serve your time, your rights should be restored. I represent people that have a felony conviction for something dumb they did long ago. They're never going to get pardoned. They're never going to have the right to vote. Big companies will not hire you if you've got a felony. It's outrageous. I've actually hired people with a felony, and they worked out fine. I don't think, now this is what Romney says, I don't think people who commit violent crimes should have the right to vote. My retort would be to him, what about white-collar criminals, Mitt, who destroy countless lives? Is it only violent criminals you don't like? Because somebody, and Bill O'Reilly supports this, he goes, man, you scar that person. If you commit physical violence, you scar them. And I'm thinking, I bet you the Bernie Madoff victims are scarred for life too. So let me tell you something. If you serve your time, you serve your probationary period, I think a felon should have their rights restored to vote.
And I agree 100%. And Bernie Madoff, somebody is dead because of something he did, but yet still he can vote.
What about you, Dr. Kurtzman? It's okay to disagree with me. I'll still let you come back next Thursday because you advertise on this, or Wednesday because you advertise on the show.
There you go.
Otherwise, I wouldn't let you on here.
Well, I think there's a whole spectrum of differences. I think you can't individualize. I think you have to individualize. I don't think you can generalize so much. I think there are some repeated felons that don't deserve their rights when they get out, and I think that people get out too early now because of the crowding in the jails. And so just because they got out early, should we restore all their rights is my question.
One of the things this hit me this morning when I was carrying my boxes to the truck to come into work, Sensible Don.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people like Mitt Romney. Dick Roding, who's a state senator who I supported, was somebody like this. And he's not in the same league as Romney financially. You know what Mitt Romney is? And I've seen this to countless people in his socioeconomic class, the uber rich. Mitt Romney is a moral man. He's an ethical man. He's a good man. But when you are that wealthy and you're uber wealthy and you're out there campaigning and you've got to get everybody's vote, the little guy's vote, it's real awkward for them. And you try to portray yourself in your dress, in your talk, and everything else that, hey, I'm just one of the guys, too, like when he said, well, when I get invited to go hunting, I don't mind going. And it's true that everybody puts their pants on the same way. But, Mitt Romney, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, Mitt Romney is uncomfortable in his own skin doing what he's having to do to get elected.
Agreed.
Which is try to act like an ordinary guy when, in fact, he's a filthy rich man that lives a totally different lifestyle than we do.
Right. Absolutely.
You can tell. It shows. It's awkward.
It was like Steve Forbes years ago.
Right. It's just one way to judge it. Can you sit down and eat a hot dog?
When we return, you're not going to believe this law that Congress passed on Real Talk 1160.
This portion of the Bulldog Nation brought to you by Green Water. Green Water. We're in bed with the government to the tune of $1 billion. Badmouth the water and face prolonged detention. And now back to the Bulldog.
Good one there.
That one.
You know what? I want everybody to know that I think it's time for Americans to practice a little what many would call treason, when in fact it wasn't treason, it was patriotism. I want the FBI to know. I want the CIA to know. I want the federal government to know. I want the executive branch to know. I want the law enforcement to know that the Bulldog is completely, 100%, absolutely serious and committed on what I'm talking about. It is not treason to love your country so much that you take up arms to save her. And if that's what we got to do after this next election, it's what has to be done, and I will support it. Now, let's go to a very funny and disgusting story.
Somebody's going to jail in Michigan today for taking up arms?
Let me just tell you something about this, Sensible Don. Let me tell you something. I'm not talking about terrorism. I'm not talking about blowing up buildings and just hurting people. I'm talking about armed insurrection to overthrow a corrupt government.
That's illegal?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
It's not tyranny, but it certainly is illegal.
We have the right in this country to take up arms.
No, you don't?
Yes, we do.
Lawyer.
And by the way, you know what? Sometimes breaking the law, Sensible Don, is worth it. And this is what's going to shock everybody. Get ready for the big shock. People say, Bulldog, if people show up in Washington with armed guns, somebody might get hurt.
Might. They
Guess
will.
what? About 5,000 soldiers have died in Iraq and Afghanistan. You know what? If a few people die in an armed insurrection to save America, they will not have died in vain.
As long as it's not Bulldog.
Who wants to lead the pack?
I'm willing to die in vain. In fact, I wrote a piece to Dr. A. Bear, my former history professor at Thomas More College. I just wrote him a letter. And they have a speaker at Law Day at Thomas More. And every year on Law Day, they get an establishment speaker for Law Day. And I wrote him a letter. I says, this is how I started the letter. You're going to laugh. I said, I didn't know Thomas More. Thomas More was not a friend of mine, but I have studied Thomas More. Thomas More gave up his life, Don, out of principle. He laid his head down on a chunk of wood when he could have signed a piece of paper and saved his head. Sensible Don, how many people in Washington, to save their country out of principle, would lie? I think Representative Westwood down in Florida.
Zero.
But you know what, Don?
Zero.
I would die in the cause of liberty for my country. I would be willing to give up my life if it helps save America. You know what, Sensible Don?
Right.
Thomas More?
Yes.
These people today, they would be trying to, everybody in Washington, they'd be sucking up to King Henry VIII, asking for some kind of special favor to save their butts.
We got to vote.
We got to change the mentality of America.
You can't change it with a gun.
Now, here's a great example. You may not have heard, folks, of the Wildlife Protection Act of 2010.
Yes, I have.
The Virginia Attorney General is on war against this law. Now, are you ready for this?
Yes.
It requires rats and other vermin not be killed but captured, preferably in families. No glue or snap traps can be utilized. The rodents must be relocated where they are captured, and some of these animals may need to be transferred to a wildlife rehabilitation as part of their restoration process.
Rats?
From CBS News.
This guy's not trying to get reelected, is he?
That's ridiculous.
Now, I would like to have somebody ask Congress how they could pass that bill.
because they have nothing else to do. They don't go pass anything that has any
crazy.
meaning.
And I promised this guy, this is great feedback before I continue the political. Mike Dew, I just don't want to forget this. Mike Dew sent me an email how wonderful soccer's picking up in the United States. And I told him that today I would be a big soccer fan and say how wonderful soccer in their draft is. So I'm a man of my word.
Soccer,
all right.
soccer's
Now
a pain
back
in
to
the
politics.
grass.
Now back to politics. I'm telling you right now, John. Here's what drives me. See, I'm almost ready. See, I kind of accept that. Okay, if Romney beats him, if Romney's the best one to beat him, I'm for Romney. There's another part of me that says, all right, Newt Gingrich can beat him, and Newt Gingrich knows the material, and he can debate him in circles. Then there's another part of me, folks, that says, you know what, Ron Paul has not changed his principles. He's stuck to these principles of liberty and conservative principles. And I like to think that when he's elected, he'd change a little bit on the foreign policy.
No.
But you know what? You know what, folks? I'm about ready to say, you know what? I want to beat Obama, and it's probably have to beat Romney. But you know what? When I hear Ron Paul talk about liberty, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how in the hell can the Bulldog not be for this guy? How can I not be for Ron Paul, the man who's preaching liberty and getting government out of our freaking lives?
I
He's my
like
man.
him. Yeah, he's my
He's
man
my
too.
man
except
until
for
he
his
gets
foreign policy.
to foreign policy
Yeah.
and want to destroy the world. You
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
do that.
Other than that, I really
But
like him.
my God, I mean, liberty, and the regulation that we get. But see, they're all so corrupt. The Republicans, the Democrats, the Obama and Bush and the Bushites and the media and the process and the money in politics and super PACs. It's all just vulgar. And I thought about this too. You know who would show up? This is amazing. When I think about those that would show up like at an armed march on Washington.
Who would show Bulldog?
Hillbillies.
Don't you laugh at them. Yeah, you're right, hillbillies. Hillbillies who drive trucks, who love America, who work a hard job, who take care of their families, people like me with their blood that flows through them from Harlan County, Kentucky. And you know
you a
what?
hillbilly?
Yeah, I'm a hillbilly. I stand with the hillbillies. I stand with the working man. I stand with the people that love America. And you know what? Unlike the elitists, unlike wimp sacks like you, Sensible Don, who want the comfort of your home and managing your bus company, I would be willing to fight with the hillbillies to save America.
I would
right
be
ahead.
willing to stand and fight for the vote. Anything else,
By the
we
way,
can work out.
before I chastise Sensible Don some more, tomorrow we have Lori Taylor coming on as our special guest. Lori Taylor's going to get us a radio syndication job through her connections.
She can work on us.
John Bick from Ropke Automotive is going to be here. And we just want to, Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery Group. We also want to thank Ace Hardware, Appliance Loft, Aroma Restaurant and Sushi, Cafe Mediterranean, Edgewood Spine and Chiropractic, Gessling Grocery, Grandview Tavern, Horizon Weight Loss Center, IntelliChoice Insurance, Meyer, Montgomery Inn, Reincarnation Auto Body, Ropke Automotive, Snap Beat Tomato Pizza, Tickets Entertainment Complex, Ultimate Air Shuttle, and Window World. You can reach me at eric@ericdeters.com, 859-250-2527. You can text me, or Bulldog 859. I'm going to leave this show, and I'm going to go out and practice law like these other talk show hosts that don't know how to work 3 jobs. I work 24 hours a day, and I feel your pain, American worker. I know what it's like. All you small business people out there, I know what it's like every 2 weeks to say, oh my God, how do I meet this payroll? How do I pay these property taxes? All the tough decisions you make. There's not a radio talk show host in the country that knows what it's like out there in America today and believes in the principles of America and is willing to fight, and I'm being serious, fight and die with others to save America. Sensible Don, I don't care how people can reach you, but tell them anyway.
Sensible Don on Facebook and Sensible Don at yahoo.com. Why are you so cold
Alex,
today?
because you're a murderer. Alex, what do you want to
be
promote
mean.
yourself?
Sure, Alex Doyle on Facebook, friend me.
And guess what? She's got my back every step
Now,
of the
ladies
way.
and gentlemen of the
betcha.
American jury, at the last break, Sensible Don and I, and this is an understatement, had a heated exchange.
Heated
Oh
argument.
my God, they
I
did.
dropped a few F words on
did.
it.
And Alex had to
Now,
hold
you know
him
what
off
I
of
know.
him.
You know what I
I
said
would
to him
leave.
about this abortion issue? Because I'm so pro-life and he's for baby killing. I asked Sensible Don, because he says, well, you're not for liberty. You're not for liberty. I said, hold on a minute. That's a human life. It has nothing to do with liberty. But I challenged Don, and I want you to admit this. I challenged Don. I said, Don, let's set the abortion issue over here. Name one other issue where I'm against liberty.
That's the only issue I could come up with you right now.
All right.
But you have that one.
I know.
I don't have
I don't know
one.
why you think it's so important to have two. You
Yeah,
got one.
you got one. That's all you need.
Because human life needs to be sacred and guarded.
And you're right.
Sensible Don, do you realize the protest emails, text messages, and the outcry for your discharge that's going to happen since they found out today you're a baby
I know
killer?
it's coming, but guess what? I'm standing my ground.
I want you to know that I will support you the best I can, but you could be in peril here. You and your sidekick,
Oh, God.
you pro-abortionist baby killers.
So take
And you too, TC.
take your guns to
We might have to
Washington
clean house.
so
Right.
you can die
Yeah.
and not
No,
be able
no,
to
no, no,
raise
no.
your unborn baby that won't die.
Okay, hey, an unborn baby is an innocent human life.
Agreed.
But Jack Wiggins in Washington. You know what I got to do here? I got to conclude with
He got too much sleep last night. That's the problem.
Patrick will tell it. You may cry peace. We need guns. There's no peace, TC.
That's a beautiful speech.
It's begun.
It's
America's
begun.
divided. Wagon riders and wagon pullers. Arms! Arms! They're already in the field, TC! This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
Oh.